Hi kindergarten, happy Friday. I'm back with our Junie B. Jones book, Junie B. Jones and a Little Monkey Business. We left off on chapter 4, so I'm going to read chapter 4 and chapter 5 to you today. Remember, there's hardly any pictures in this, so if you want to just relax, lay down and listen, that works for me. So chapter 4 is called Hoppy and Russell. My room at kindergarten is named Room 9. I have two bestest friends in that place. One of them has the name of Lucille. Lucille sits right exactly next to me. She has a red chair and also little red fingernails, which are very glossy. My other bestest friend is named Grace. Me and that Grace sit together on the school bus. Except for not today we didn't, because today Grandpa Miller drove me. Then he walked to Room 9 with me, and he waved at my teacher. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs., and that's all. When I first walked into my room, Lucille was looking at that Grace's brand new shoes, and their name was Pink High Tops. Hey Grace, those new shoes look very beautiful on you, I said. But that Grace didn't even say thank you to me. Grace is angry at you, said Lucille. She said that she rode the bus today and you weren't even there to save her a seat. And she had to sit next to an icky kid. Right, Grace? Grace bobbed her head up and down. Yes, only I couldn't help it, Grace, I said. That's because I stayed at my Grandpa Miller's all night. And there's no bus at that place, and so he had to drive me here today. Then I tried to hold that Grace's hand, only she quick pulled away. That's not very nice of you, Grace, I said. And so guess what? Now I'm not going to tell you my special secret. That's when that Grace called me a poopy head. Lucille held my hand. I don't think you're a poopy head, Junie B., she said. And so you can tell me your special secret, and I won't tell anybody, not even Grace. Remember, we talked about it. Junie B. doesn't always use the nicest words. So we're not going to use those words, but Junie B. uses them. That's when that Grace kicked Lucille in the leg, and so Lucille pushed her down, and Mrs. had to come pull them off of each other. I raised my hand very polite. I wasn't involved, I said to Mrs. And there's a little picture, Lucille and Grace. Junie B's back here. After that, we had to sit down and do some work. It was called printing our numbers. Only I couldn't do mine that good because Lucille kept on talking to me, that's why. Come on, Junie B., she said in her whispering voice. Tell me your special secret. I won't tell, I promise. Yes, only I can't, Lucille, I said, 'cause no talking to your neighbor, remember? Then Mrs. snapped her fingers at me. See, Lucille, I told you, no talking to your neighbor. I hollered, now I got snapped at. Just then, a boy named Jim said, shh, to me. Shh, yourself, you big Jim, I said back. After that, Mrs. stood next to me till I finished my work. Then I got all done and she collected it. That made me happy inside, because guess what comes after work? Something very fun, that's what. And its name is Show and Tell. Mrs. stood next to her desk. Who has something interesting to share with the class today, she said. Then my heart got very pumpy because I had the most special secret in the whole wide world. I raised my hand way high in the air. Ooh, ooh, I hollered very loud. Me. Mrs. shook her head at me because I'm not supposed to go, ooh, me. She called on William. He is a crybaby. In my class, I could beat him up, I think. William, said Mrs., since you raised your hand so politely, you may go first. And so then William carried a paper bag to the front of the room, and he took out a jar of 2 dead crickets. Except for William didn't know they were dead, he just thought they were sleeping. Jump, Poppy, jump, Russell, said William. Then he tapped on the glass. Hey, wake up in there, he said. After that, William started shaking the jar all over the place, and he wouldn't stop. Wake up, I said, he shouted. Then Hoppy and Russell started falling all apart, and Mrs. had to take the jar away. That's when William started to cry, and he had to go to the nurse's office to lie down. And so then I raised my hand way high in the air again, because guess what? My show and tell was way better than those two crickets. Okay, so that's chapter 4. Now we're on to chapter 5, monkey business. She's still waiting to be called on. Mrs. called my name. Junie B, would you like to go next, she asked. Then I jumped right up and I ran speedy fast to the front of the room. Guess what? I said, very excited. Last night my mother had a baby, and it's the boy kind. Mrs. clapped her hands. Junie B. Jones has a new little brother, everyone, she said. Isn't that wonderful? Then all of room 9 clapped too. Yes, only you haven't even heard the bestest part yet, I said very loud. Because guess what else? He's a monkey! That's what else. My new brother is a real alive baby monkey. Oh no, so Junie B thinks that her little brother is going to be a monkey because Grandma called him a little monkey. She didn't know that was just kind of little thing Grandma was saying. She took it literally and thinks that she has a monkey for a brother. Mrs. got a funny look on her face, and she squinted her eyes very tiny, and so maybe she didn't hear me or something, thought. I said, I've got a monkey brother, I shouted real louder. Then that mean Jim jumped up from his desk, and he hollered, Liar, liar, pants on fire. No, they are not on fire, Jim, I said back. I do too have a monkey brother. You can ask my Grandma Miller if you don't believe me. Mrs. raised her eyebrows way high on her head. Your grandmother told you that your brother is a monkey? She asked me. Yes, I said. She told me he has long fingers and long toes and lots of black fur all over himself. After that, Mrs. kept on looking and looking at me. Then she said it was time for me to sit down. There's a couple pictures for you. Yeah, only I'm not done telling the children about my monkey brother yet, I explained. 'Cause guess what else? His wallpaper has pictures of his jungle friends on it, and his bed has bars on the sides. But I'm going to teach him not to bite people. Then this boy named Ricardo, who has cute freckles on his face, said, Monkeys are cool to me. I know they are cool, Ricardo, I said. And guess what else? Maybe I can bring him to school on pet day. Oh, goodness. Then Ricardo smiled at me, and so he might be my boyfriend, I think. Except for there's a boy in room 8 who already loves me. No boyfriends and girlfriends in kindergarten. Just then, Mrs. stood up and pointed at me. That's enough, Junie B, she said. I want you to sit down now. You and I will talk about this monkey business later. And so that made me giggle because monkey business is a funny word, I think. Then I waved goodbye to my new boyfriend, Ricardo, and I skipped back to my seat. All right, and that is it. Probably Monday or Tuesday next week, I'll read you some more. I hope you enjoyed it. Junie B is such a silly girl. Have a great weekend.